Step into the Trademark, your go-to podcast for everything marketing in the trades. Hosted by award-winning industry marketing experts Sarah Gerardo from Remarketable and Eric Thomas from Rival Digital. Together, we're here to unite the worlds of trades and marketing, bringing you insights, stories, and strategies from the heart of the industry. Whether you're a trade professional, a marketing expert, or somewhere in between, this is the place for you. Listen in as we're here for the big ideas, the game changers, and the everyday successes. Because at the Trademark, we're with the trades and for the trades.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Trademark Flying Solo. We are live at the Roofing Process Conference, the 6th annual one, hosted by LB Capital. Lance Bachman and his crew, awesome folks. They've put on, honestly, a remarkable event. Just such a great event. Great speakers, great accommodations. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. Sarah's in a session right now listening to the speakers, so I have Flying Solo, and I got Josh Taylor with me from Roofing Pups. Josh, how are you doing?
Good, man. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know that you work with Lance and Bill and them at LB Cap. So just tell me a little bit more about yourself and about Roofing Pups and kind of what you guys got going on.
Yeah, sure. So I'll tell you a little bit about me. I've been in home services for about 12 years now. A little bit of a unorthodox start. So got into business out of necessity. Was actually an ER nurse, and my wife was in grad school at the time. And, it was just a way I picked up a power washer and started washing houses on the weekend just to make a little extra money. So, it didn't take long. I'm like, man, on a Saturday, Sunday, I'm making as much as I'm making in 2 weeks as a nurse. So put a business, plan together, and, I started doing more power washing than nursing. Went part-time with the nursing, and then slowly just left it all together. And really for the longest time, though, was more of just an owner operator. Didn't know anything about business. Thought I had a business, but really just essentially replaced that job with a new one. So it wasn't until I hired a business coach about 3 years in that things started to change. Hired my first couple employees, started to put systems and processes in place. Fast forward now, we've got 3 locations, 40 plus employees. I'm completely hands off. I've got a team of directors that run the company. We've run EOS. I don't know if you're familiar with that entrepreneurial operating system. And so I found myself in a position, 4 kids now, had a little bit more time on my hands. I was on vacation with my dad and my brother. And my dad was like, man, he's been in doors and windows, so exterior remodeling for years, since 94. He's like, I'd love to sell the company, retire at some point. And, we had to have like a real honest conversation. I was like, well, Dad, it's kind of only you, right? Like, no one's going to buy a company that is, one employee. So I said, well, why don't we try to grow it and scale it and partner with me? Kind of like you did with the power washing company. I said, dude, that sounds great. Let's do it. I said, let's get my brother involved. So my brother left his corporate job at Costco, great sales guy, systems, processes. So we got into roofing because I told him, I said, look, if we're going to do this, we got to get into roofing and siding, right? So that's where the money's at. We were doing a lot of doors and windows originally. And, the first year, so this was 2000, it's 24 now, 2022, middle of 2022, we partnered. And we took his company. He was doing about 900 in revenue. We took it to about 3.2 million in 1 year.
Wow.
And then, I'm talking to Lance. Lance and I have been partners for a long time. Our boys wrestle together and stuff. And he's like, man, you should see what I'm doing with LB Capital. And I'm rolling up roofing companies. I was like, really? No shit. I was like, well, let's talk. So I went up, hung out with him, and kind of laid out the plan to me. Basically, multiple arbitrage, trying to build value by rolling the companies together, leveraging, the systems and processes that they know that work. He had already actually exited to private equity, so kind of had the proof of concept, knew what he was doing. And, I talked to my dad and my brother, and we're like, look, what will take us the next 5 years to accomplish, we could probably do with Lance in 2 to 3.
Yeah.
And cut to the front of the line in a lot of ways. So here we are 6 months later, we've partnered, we rebranded from what the company was originally Airtight Exteriors. And now we're Roofing Pups, and we're having a freaking blast, dude. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Ton of growth. It's been fun, man. It's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. All right. So you are everything up to here. Now you're with Roofing Pups. I guess just tell me a little bit more, because I know that you guys have a really big vision for Roofing Pups, kind of take it even to 5 more locations in 2025, just really kind of grow and scale it. What's kind of going to be like the driving force, or kind of like some of the key indicators there for you guys to like really grow it?
To be successful?
Yeah.
I think it really comes down to what we're seeing, because, I see all the companies that come in, right? We were one of 5, and a lot of it comes down to the operator, right? And having the goals and vision in alignment with what LB Capital and Lance, has. So I think, the operator is a really important piece. Look, these guys know how to market, they know how to generate leads. We've got a great sales process, all the technology, the financing. It's such a frictionless process. It is very plug and play, but you need intense operators that want to win. That, Lance stresses the 3 S's to us.
Yeah.
It's the sacrifice, suffer equals success. And we believe in that. And so we sacrifice a lot all the time, but we do it because we know what we're doing it for, right? At the end of the day. So having really strong operators is really important. Obviously, they look at every market very, very closely. There's specific things that they look at. Like anything, when you do an acquisition, you've got risk tolerance. And so you're looking at, how strong are they with retail? How much of their business is in insurance versus retail? Roofing Pups is not an insurance play. It's all retail. So, that's really important to us. Not that they don't look and don't consider insurance roofing companies, but what we've seen, and, we were doing a lot of insurance work too when we came in, is, a lot of that, some of those employees don't last, right? They're just not a good fit for what you're trying to do on the retail side. So that's some of the important stuff. The market's really important, understanding the market, because their go-to-market strategy, with some of the aggregator stuff that we do. And that's really important too. But the vision is to just take the brand national, utilize that national presence. Lance talked about when he spoke this morning about, really building those relationships between the manufacturer, the distributors, and us as the small business owners, and getting rid of all that friction, right? Creating more of an honest conversation, bring those guys to the table, because look, we charge what we charge on a roof based off of what we're getting on supply costs and materials. And when that's changing all the time, it makes it difficult to run your business, right? We obsess about gross profit. And gross profit changes when cost of materials change, right?
Yeah.
Labor change. So we got to look at all those things. And so what he's doing is just, bringing the right people to the table, creating a lot of value on that front. So, we're getting really, really good deals on materials and fulfillment. And, he's doing things like, we'd sell a job, want to get it done. If we got it done in 3 or 4 days, that's a win, man. That's good. That's good turnaround time. Lance is like, dude, we're going to be like, we're doing the stuff same day. And we're going to get the distributors to drop the stuff for us still same day.
Yeah.
Order in, pulled on site. And, so we can do next day installs. So it's just things like that. What I like about Lance and what I like about what they're doing is nothing is set in stone, man. They challenge the status quo.
Yeah.
Right. So like reinventing a lot of things, but also doing what works and just making it a little bit better every day.
Yeah. For any roofers that might be listening to this show, like what's like 1 or 2 pieces of advice that you could give them that, might have been a key lesson that you've learned over the years
pertaining to roofing?
Yeah.
Just roofing?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think a lot of people think roofing's all about the roofing insurance game. And, having gotten into it, not knowing anything about it, it was the most attractive thing to me. It was like, oh man, a free roof, this is the easiest thing in the world to sell. And I thought that retail was going to be such a hard road, but it's not. It's actually not. And I could never imagine going back to doing insurance work after doing retail. And I'm not saying anything bad to the insurance guys out there. Don't get all upset and worked up over this. There's a place for it, but when you're trying to run your business and cash flow and those things that are really important, retail is the way to go. So I would just say, look, man, and this is more of a business thing. Don't challenge the status quo, man. Right? Just because something's been done one way for a long time doesn't mean it's right. Doesn't mean it can't be done differently. So, the best advice someone gave me is like, don't take advice from someone you wouldn't trade places with, right? Look at the guys who are doing what you want to do and emulate them, right?
Yeah.
Go see what they're doing. You don't have to recreate the wheel all the time. You just need to follow the guys and do the things that are working, essentially.
Yeah, that's awesome. I guess in regards to the event today, what's been kind of a key takeaway that you've heard so far? I know we just got started a few hours ago, but any key takeaways so far?
Man, there's so much, right? These guys are dropping so many gold nuggets. But I think the common thing that you hear from, Lance's story is about, overcoming adversity, taking your challenges and the things that, you may see as like things that you're embarrassed about or struggles in your life and turning them into a superpower and a driving force, right? I think that's one of the things I love about the speakers. They share the dark stuff too, right?
Yeah.
Like nobody can really identify with the success of being selling your company for $100 million. How many people can really relate to that? But they can relate to having a father growing up. They can relate to abandonment, abuse, drug addiction, those types of things. And a lot of people, I think, they look at that and they think it's not a crutch, but it's something that's working against them, and they can't have what they want because of those things. But really, that's a lot of times that's what causes you to be a gritty, strong person, and really you can leverage that into a superpower. So that was a big takeaway, and I'd say, Tommy, big thing on him, and this is a guy that's created a tremendous amount of value in the marketplace, right?
Yeah.
Like $1 billion, and he's going to exit for his second time. He'll make $1 billion on that deal. He just said, look, that guy talks about self-care. You got to take care of you. I got to take care of me so I can take care of you.
Yeah.
And you are your number one investment, right? That's the best investment you can make is in yourself, whether it's coaching, self-care, your health, your fitness. You got to feel good about who you are, and you can share that with everyone around you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all really good stuff. Yeah. I totally agree, man, about like, just when you hear some of the speakers, like I can't relate to selling a business for $100 million yet. Hopefully one day I can relate, but like, I'm a father, I'm a husband, we can relate to that, being, what Lance shared really hit home with me, where it was like, my legacy is not, businessman. It's good dad, good husband, tried my best, and like everyone can relate to that. Most people can, so.
I'll share something with you. Lance, we had a meeting with Lance, and he went a little deeper on the legacy thing. And he said, really think about your legacy. No one's really going to remember you. Like even as big of a deal as, and he referred to himself, right? Like, let's just say like you sold a company for $150 million, $200 million, right? And your big name, you're speaking. Like at the end of the day, in 50 years, no one's really going to remember you. The only legacy you really have is your direct family.
Yeah.
What are your kids going to think about you as they live the rest of their life?
Yeah.
And if you made an impact on maybe your grandchildren, your wife, like that's your legacy. It's just those people right there. For most people.
Yeah.
It's really your legacy.
Yeah. And it usually does stop at your grandchildren.
Yeah.
What I've found. Cause like I have, I have memories of my grandpa's still alive, thankfully, but my other grandparents aren't. Like I have memories of them, but like my children won't. They'll just have, some small hearsay that I'll have, but it kind of stops there, which is kind of crazy. And I heard a quote. I can't remember. I think I heard this at church. The pastor was saying like, you have to have the mindset that like the decision that you're making today is an investment in my grandchildren's life. Like not just my children, but like my grandchildren's life. Like who I'm going to be today is going to help invest into my grandchildren. Cause like, that's like you said, like that's what your legacy can be is, passing down to your children, their children. And that's, yeah. So anyways, I think that's the beauty in entrepreneurship and conferences like this. It's just getting to connect with people and learn more about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you catch that clip at the end by Ed Milet where he says, I'm the one. He calls it the generational, I think it's called the generational character, or it's the generational something. He has a name for it, but it's the person in your family that changes the trajectory of your family, right?
Yeah.
And he talks about how he was that person. Like his kids think differently. They're positive thinkers. They're forward thinkers. And they weren't brought up like that. He was in a house. He had a, alcoholic father, and he talks about that. He had a great relationship with his father before he passed away. But, we all have that opportunity. We all have the chance to do that. And that's where the impact is, right? How do we change the future of our children, our children's children? And, every single person can do that. Doesn't matter what your situation is.
Yeah.
So
that's good stuff, man. Well, I appreciate you spending some time chatting with me today. And anything before we hop off, where can folks learn more about, Roofing Pups or any of the stuff that you guys have going on?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have our website, roofingpups.com. You can also go to LB Capital's website. They've got a list of all the portfolio companies there. You can get a hold of, people at LB Capital, Bill Roselle, the CEO. Lance is great about giving his cell phone away.
Yeah.
Everybody here has it, I think, right now.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to reach out to me, is interested in finding out about how that transition went for us partnering with LB Capital, taking on the Roofing Pups name, I'd be happy to connect with you. You can you can email me at jtaylor@roofingpups.com. Or, shoot me a text. I'll give you my cell, 443-208-0178. So
awesome.
Our,
Josh,
availability is the number one ability. So.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Josh, yeah. Thank you again for being on the show. Thank you all for listening, and we will catch you all later.
And that wraps up another episode of The Trademark, where we bridge the worlds of the trades and marketing, one story at a time. We can't wait to see you next time. Thank you to the trades for giving back big, loving big, and taking massive action. Don't forget to join us next time for more engaging conversations and innovative ideas. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review and share it with your colleagues and friends in the trades and marketing. Your support means the world to us. Stay connected with us off the air by following us on social media. We'd love to hear your thoughts and get your feedback. Until next time, keep making your mark in the trades. Thank you for listening to The Trademark. Goodbye for now, and remember, we're with the trades for the trades.